about to mention Len's footwear. Big shoes to fill was the phrase I heard most often. Now here I was, taking part in my first ever live show. I'd already danced a samba with the professionals, and that had gone wonderfully, far better than I could have hoped, considering it was years since I'd performed in front of an audience. Nevertheless, I knew my real baptism of fire was still ahead of me. I had to walk across the glittering dance floor to where the hosts, Tess Daly and Claudia Winkleman, were standing, waiting for me. I'd already had a bit of a drama backstage. For that evening, my very first night as a judge, the wardrobe ladies had given me a beautiful long evening dress with black and white stripes and little white petals at the top. It was so tailored, they had to squeeze me in it, and in fact, it was so tight the zip broke. So they'd had to quickly sew me into it, finishing just seconds before I was due to walk on. I love that dress. Wearing it that night is a very special memory, and it still has pride of place in my wardrobe. I smiled at the audience as though this was just like any other Saturday night for me, and finally I took my place with the rest of the judges on the panel. On the outside, I was desperately trying to look natural, as though I didn't have a care in the world. On the inside, all I could hear was my heart pounding in my ears and my knees knocking. I gazed down under the panel and imagined Len's shoes there on the floor, and in my head I placed my dainty slippers next to them. There was no filling Len's place, and I'd already decided not to try. I could only bring my own. Throughout my first few weeks on Strictly, in truth, I was overawed. If it looks simple being a judge, believe me when I tell you, there's an awfully long list of things you have to remember. Even walking on is a high-wire act in itself. You only have so many seconds to get to your seat, and I always seemed to get there late, which meant I was flustered right from the beginning. Once you're in your seat, you have to work out where to look, what to say, when to press your scoring button, plus all the time you're very aware it's going out live to millions of people at home, so there really is no place to hide. The format is the same for every couple who come on and do their number. For me, judging the dance routines is by far the most straightforward part of the program. After all, that's what I've been doing professionally for decades. The minute each couple has finished their dance, that's when I have to press my scoring button so the score can go up to the computer and be programmed to show up on people's TV screens. When the couple are upstairs with Claudia and the whole Strictly entourage. The reason we have to press our score buttons so promptly is so there's no confusion later. Well, of course, those first few weeks I kept forgetting to press my keypad. Nicola, the floor manager, would call out from the production gallery, "She hasn't pressed her button! Press the button! Oh my God, she hasn't pressed the button!" She had to keep frantically gesticulating to me. I thought she was just waving at me to be encouraging, so I was happily smiling back at her, and all the while she was having kittens. It took me about 3 weeks to get everything together. The paddle, the keypad, the cameras, and the more I was trying to do it right, the more I was perspiring and losing my train of thought. All those years of dancing in front of the world's harshest judges hadn't prepared me for this. Trust me, it was 100 times more nerve-wracking. People don't believe me, but when you're dancing in competitions, as I'd been doing for all those years, it's a lot easier to concentrate on your routine. Once you step out onto the floor, it's just you and your partner in a world all of your own. Everyone's watching, but you can lose yourself in the music and relax in your own little fishbowl. On the other hand, when you're a judge on Strictly, you're in a similar fishbowl, but you have to watch the routines, hold the paddles, and give constructive criticism, all in front of around 15 million viewers. You can never lose your concentration for a second. I worried constantly about